If you are using vague language like slightly down or maybe in your financial reports, you are not just making a small mistake. You are costing your company or yourself real money. But that word choice, that vagueness, is the difference between a minor concern and a $500,000 problem. Vague English signals an executive is guessing, and guesswork is a liability when millions are at stake. So, we are introducing the three $500,000 words you must use when discussing risk. And we're going to start right now. If you report that revenue is slightly down, but that number represents a 1.2% dip, or that could lead to maybe a $500,000 revenue leakage. So you must use the phrase, the current quarter indicates a revenue leakage. So that's leakage. That term demands an immediate executive response. If you present a risk by saying, I think we're safe from the market volatility, but personal feelings are irrelevant when millions are at stake. So you don't just use I think. Assuming that you are in the finance space, or maybe you're a CFO or a member of the purchasing team or the finance team. So you must use data backed language like based on our current projections. So these are the phrases that you should use. So set aside those feelings. Okay. So instead of saying I think, so you must use data backed up phrases. You can also say based on data, or our forecast indicates, that will give you more credibility. So if you are asked, what happens if the deal fails, but you cannot use vague words like we'll figure it out. Most of the time, I'm also guilty with that. So sometimes, so I have a different business, and normally I just tell my managers we're going to figure it out. So I'm also guilty with that. So you must immediately deploy the $500,000 word. So we have a contingency plan. So that's how you say it. Contingency. So this signals control and preparedness. So when you say you have a contingency plan, it means you have like a plan B, plan C, plan D up to plan Z or plan Z. So as a CFO or a head or a financial expert, you should give that voice of authority. So if you identify a risk in procurement, for example, but you use a weak word like fix, so you must use the professional term mitigate risk. So MITIGATE. This word confirms you are managing the risk, not just noticing it. So you want to mitigate the risk. Normally, statements from the head of a department, especially in emails, this is very sensitive because everything that you write down, even if it's like a DM or direct message, it's dangerous because anything you say can be used against you. So this does not apply just to finance. So every department, whether you're in IT, you're in finance or marketing, you always want to avoid being vague or vagueness. But we all know this that it still boils down to office politics. So there are members of the team who are very likable, or maybe the boss, they're the boss's pet or the CEO's pet. And normally these people can get away with anything they say, even if it's too vague. And we all know that. So I experienced working in corporate. I also experienced working in a school, and recently in an international school. So the working environment in an international school, it's pretty much the same with corporate. And there will be lots of office politics, and some people can get away with that. But if you cannot play the politics side, it's better to be sure and better be careful. You don't want to get in trouble. So whenever you try to communicate or discuss the financial report, or maybe any report, if you're in IT, if you're in marketing, avoid being vague by using those words. So instead of fix, you just say mitigate the risk. It means you'll be able to manage it, and you're not just sitting down just to see what happens next. So you are someone who is responsible and accountable for everything. Of course, there can be exceptions, but most of the time you take ownership of what you said. And for finance people, I know that you are very analytical. Most of you are analytical. You love data, you love numbers. So take advantage of that. So always stay in your lane and always take ownership of what you're saying. So if you are giving this statement, be sure that it's backed up by data. And if you listen this far, you recognize that your language is a direct reflection of your perceived financial competence. So that means you'll get promotion. You'll be getting you will get promoted if you are confident with carrying yourself and how you communicate with your team members. And you now have the exact words to sound like a C-suite executive. So you might be dreaming of becoming a CFO someday, or chief financial officer, or CTO, chief technological officer, or maybe a CEO. But simply knowing the words is not enough. And you are using them maybe with the right tone, are using them with the right stress and authority. So are you sure you aren't leaving money on the table? So stop guessing and start mastering. Click the link in the description right now and book your free discovery and strategy call with the Executive English Crew. And let's audit your reports and pitches to find your next $500,000 word. And I'll see you, or maybe you will hear me in the next podcast. Bye.